Now I'm going to get into my Enneagram uh, types. I'm going to talk about the self-preservation 4 type first, and then I'll talk about my 459 tritype. So, so overall, my main type is 4. I resonate with the 5 and the 9, which is what I'm going to talk about in the tritype. But the 4 overall has a feeling that they're different from everybody else, and they just don't fit in. They kind of feel special to themselves, but they're kind of envious of everybody else because it seems like everybody else has an easier time. So when I was younger, I was really feeling the 4 energy really, really strongly. That feeling of aloneness and isolation and feeling different than everybody else, and that's really common for feeling. But really in touch with their own emotions, and they're usually in touch with kind of the darker side of things, more of the melancholy energy overall. They really gravitate towards the melancholy feeling, and they kind of hold on to that really strongly. So for a while, I was really focused on my melancholy feelings, and through my music, I would create melancholy music, and I was just reinforce this feeling of being kind of sad, I guess, but that felt good to me. So like all the music I would listen to is all this dark, brooding kind of music, and I had a harder time opening up to something that was more positive and happy and that kind of thing. So, over time, I was able to heal a lot of the 4 feelings of like the envy overall pattern and the feeling different. And now I feel like just like everybody else. I don't feel like so different and isolated. I feel good. So I was able to work through a lot of that. But I do identify the 4 as being my main type. And so I'll talk a little bit about what I have here, which is the self-preservation subtype of the 4. Um, they call this tenacity, and they strive to experience their depth through lifestyle, creativity, and self expression. They're very creative. They can spend hours absorbed in crafts like painting, music making, and design. They require periodic bouts of solitude to be immersed in their creative projects. They're sensitive to aesthetics and ambience, and they want their environment to be emotionally resonant. They desire home, work, and overall lifestyle to be congruent with their subjective experiences. So the self-preservation instinctual type, there's 3 of them. There's self-preservation, sexual, and social. So self-preservation overall is the most introverted of them, and they more deal with like getting your physical needs met, and so the environment that you live in is really important. So I spend a lot of time at home with just getting into my own interest, things that interest me, such as making music or designing things or reading stuff, and building like these videos that I make. So I have a lot of this creative time that I need for myself. I need a lot of time to myself to explore my creative projects and my own inner world that I'm exploring. So creativity and self-expression are really important to me, but I do need a lot of alone time to really cultivate all that. I do resonate with the wanting an environment that fits my aesthetics and it resonates with my emotions. That does make a lot of sense. And I work from home from my main job. I work for a national university currently. Um, so kind of my home environment is my work environment too. So I really have like this desk that I'm working at is kind of a hub for where I do a lot of my work. So so yeah, that's the self-preservation 4. It has more of a focus on this internal solitude, uh, getting immersed in your creative projects in your own time. And so that's what that is. And now let's get into the tri-type. So there's a theory developed by Catherine Faber that talks about the tri-types. So basically, we have a dominant type in each of the triads. So there's the body triad that has type 8, 9, and 1. There's the feeling triad or heart triad, which is the 2, 3, and 4. And then there's the 5, 6, 7, which is the thinking or head triad. So in the body triad, I'm a 9. In the feeling triad, I'm a 4. And in the thinking triad, I'm a 5. And so I spent some time, I was in some workshops about the Enneagram. And the teacher I was learning from at the time was trying to pinpoint which one I was. And we kept on bouncing between these three, and I couldn't like decide which one of these three I actually was, because I could resonate with all three of them really strongly. So it was really hard to I couldn't just focus on just being a 4. It just didn't make sense. I could resonate with the 5. I could resonate with the 9. So it really, for me, seeing that made it clear to me that the tritype theory is really real. And once you understand it, you can start to apply it to people and say, once you know like each of those types and each of the triads, you can say, oh, okay, this person is definitely more 8 than 1. So we'll say 8 for the body triad. They're more 3 than 4, so they're 3, and so on and so forth. But yeah, let's just talk about what the 459 is. Excuse me, my throat's a little scratchy. So it's the contemplative. So the 459 is the most withdrawn type. It's in each triad. That's the type in each one that's turned inwards and moves away from people into the inner world. So it makes them the contemplative when you put these three together. They're intuitive, which is the 4 influence. Knowledgeable, that's the 5. And accepting, that's 9. They want to be original, that's a strong 4 thing. Wise, that's 5. And peaceful, that's 9. So they're highly self-aware, reflective, shy, reserved, and self-conscious. They need regular quiet time to reflect on their thoughts and emotions, and they delve deeply into the mysteries of life and share insights with others. Overall, they need to learn to engage with others instead of always pulling away into their own private world. So, like, a really important part of this is I can't just stay in my own world all the time. I need to reach out to people. And that's why I'm, creating all this content on my YouTube. Is I have all the stuff I've been studying and I want to share it with everybody. So, I need to actually connect outwards to other people and interact with people, so people get to know what's been going on with me and what I've been studying on, what I've been reflecting on, what I've been contemplating, all that. And so I definitely felt a lot of shyness when I was younger. I don't feel it so much now, but I definitely still need that time, quiet time to myself, to feel fulfilled, to really process everything that's going on internally. But now I don't really have the shyness so much. And that's kind of more of a recent thing that I've overcome. And we'll talk about that with my arrogance obstacle and Michael teachings too, that relates to that as well. So yeah, the big lesson is I got to connect with people. But my inner world is very, rich and deep, because I'm exploring that all the time. So, that's what's allowed me to really study all these different systems and develop my music and do all those things. So yeah, that's the Enneagram tritype.